that's not all the exciting stuff we saw at Pans, dude. We saw a lot of crazy stuff. And another thing that I particularly thought was crazy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FloGrappling Show, the worst show on the internet, dude. And listen, we kicked off the dead weight. We said FloGrappling's Joey Gilbs, Big Slack Bear, get the freak out of here, dude. It's just Big Trey Robinson and Big Uncle Reed over there holding it down. Do we have a camera? Can we show them the empty side desk over there to confirm? Boom, there it is. Nobody. Just the two of us holding it down. No, I'm just kidding. Those boys are, they've been out covering IBJJF Pans in Kissimmee, Florida, so they're flying back right now. So obviously, you can't do a podcast from an airplane, even though I have always thought that would be a great podcast. Imagine imagine if you brought your gear, like recording gear, to a plane, and just like whoever you sat next to, you're like, hey, would you like to record a podcast with me? And then you just have this crazy podcast that dives into random people's stories and everything. That's a great podcast.
That's an incredible idea. That's a great idea.
That's always been one I've had on the back burner, for my ideas out there. But it would just be like, it would be an incredibly hard thing to pull off, like from a courage standpoint. To sit there on a plane and do a podcast, people would hate you.
I feel like it'd be a hard thing to pull off from like a technical audio standpoint, to be honest.
Yeah, you would never be able to have like locked in audio, but I think like as long as you show a little video, like you have some sort of small camera set up to let people know the environment, but also like people know what they're getting in for. It's like it's a podcast on a plane. It's not like they're going to be surprised and be like, what the freak is there a big like sound in the background?
And so what if the guy says no, that they don't want to do a podcast, and then you just like find a different seat? Or
yeah, you ask them. You ask them to move seats.
You might Southwest.
I was gonna say you might have to do Southwest. Yeah, Southwest would be good. But sometimes people you sit by on a plane, they already think it's a podcast, dude. They be yapping.
Rarer and rarer these days, though. I feel like back in the day, everybody used to talk, but
back in the day, it was like standard. You just talked on planes. But at some point, as a society, maybe it was a COVID shift or something when people quit talking to each other. I think the new unwritten rule became that no one talked on planes.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, when I sit down and someone just won't quit talking to me, but I'm trying to be like, I'll politely make it like, haha, cool, man. Yeah, for sure. And then, you look forward to kind of let them know, and they keep talking. Sometimes you got to pull out the AirPod and just look at them and put it in, and just be like, it's over, dude.
Yeah. No, on a plane, it's like I am kind of locked in where I just want to get this plane ride over with, so.
For sure. Everyone sit quietly for the next 3 hours, whatever it is,
Stare forward.
Yeah.
Don't say a word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a plane talk with Trey and Reed. Now that the boys are gone, dude, we can make this show whatever we want, dude.
Plane talk.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good on plane talk.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about IBJJF Pans.
Yeah.
Big tournament went down in Kissimmee, Florida. A lot happening this weekend, but
sure.
But obviously in the jiu-jitsu world, it was Pans, one of the biggest gi tournaments of the year. A lot happened, a bunch of crazy matches. Hope you guys were following along. I don't know. Yeah, where do you want to start, Trey? What sticks out to you?
I think, so obviously, we got to talk about the black belts and everything. A bunch of crazy black belt action went down. But to be honest, I kind of want to kick it off with a brown belt match. Kind of one of the biggest things that could have happened at this IBJJF Pans, in my opinion, is watching Helena Crevar and Sarah Galvao. We knew there was a chance that they would meet. To be honest, like when the weight divisions came out, Lillian Marchand, Sarah Galvao, both Atto's Dream Team members, they've been kind of running the show, but Helena Crevar was the new person in the mix, and it was like, are they going to be in the same divisions, whatever, and they weren't. So all those girls went on to do well in their divisions and then meet in the absolute, and ended up being Sarah and Helena that hit in the absolute. Obviously, this is an insanely hyped match. I kind of wondered, to be honest, if someone wasn't going to do the absolute. I didn't know who it wouldn't be, but I was like, maybe they want to hold this off and not give, too big of a show at Pans and hold it off for Worlds or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I was refreshing the open class, being like, oh, dude, is Atos going to enter? Is Helena going to enter? You see Helena's name pop up, and it's like, okay, Helena's in. Atos still not in yet. And then all of a sudden, boom, Sarah Galvao, Lillian Marchand both entered. Sarah ended up on the same side of the bracket as Helena, Lillian on the other side. And then, we saw this match.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like sometimes that happens, right? Where it's like right before Worlds, you don't want the A person versus the A person just yet, you know? So it's like, where are we going to see Sarah in the absolute? Where are we going to see Helena in the absolute? It wasn't quite clear, you know, where they're going to kind of play it a little, you know, close to the chest and save that big match for Worlds. And then, it didn't happen like that. They both jumped in there.
Put it on the line, dude.
Yeah,
it's kind of gangster to see from everybody involved. So let's go ahead. Let's play this match and kind of get it going.
Yeah, because obviously, and we talked a lot about this kind of like going into the last podcast, going into Pans, is how this is one of the biggest matches that could probably hit all weekend, to be honest. You know, both these girls are just like on the ascension. They're both killing it. They're both submitting girls left and right. And we hadn't really seen them be totally tested, at least Helena, like totally tested in the gi.
Helena, especially, Sarah's for sure had some tough matches in the gi because she's kind of been in the adult division for a minute now. You know, she's been doing purple belt adult, brown belt adult, but Helena's still been in the juvenile division. So this was her first kind of rise up into the adult ranks, especially at brown belt. This was crazy to see.
And both of them won their divisions, right? So both of them got the gold medal in their divisions. They jumped in the absolute, and it was like, oh, holy, we're going to see Sarah versus Helena here. And it delivers right out the gate here. As you can see, Sarah is putting a lot of pressure on Helena's guard here right out the gate.
Dude, who does this look like right here?
Andre
Galvao.
Galvao.
She freaking, this looks exactly like Andre Galvao.
Yeah, just some smash passes, like
stacking people up and just cooking them there, you know?
Boom. So here we are, you know,
Helena.
A minute into the match, and already Sarah is putting the pressure on, getting those 3 points for the pass.
For sure. And she just like maintains this pressure throughout, to be honest. Helena obviously kicked it off, pulled guard immediately. I feel like that's not surprising. You know, I kind of expected that. But, dude, Sarah's passing is pretty unreal, to be honest, especially to pass someone like Helena's guard. I always hear people talk, like at the New Wave room and everything, talk about just kind of how incredible Helena's guard really is and stuff. And for Sarah just to come out and, you know, put it on her like this off the rip, it was super impressive to see.
And I do feel like, you know, now that Helena's felt Sarah, you know, felt that kind of like upper tier, like she will rise to the occasion. Like we will see, we're going to see this match a bunch more over the next, you know, 5-10 years or whatever, probably, if they, you know, keep going. And it seems like they're both pretty committed to Black Belt World Championships. So, yeah, we're going to see this match plenty more, and I think Helena is going to kind of rise to the occasion here. We'll see a closer match probably in the future, but at least for this match, it kind of was all Sarah Galvao.
Definitely, yeah. She got into her game and just kind of never left it. But like what you're saying, though, I do think this is like the first start of potentially one of the biggest rivalries we'll see in jiu-jitsu for the next 10 years. You know, like this does seem like very likely both these girls meet again at the World's Brown Belt Absolute. You know, obviously they got to win their division and stuff first. I don't think we're ever going to see Helena and Sarah in the same division because there is a pretty big weight difference, but it feels like both these girls have what it takes to always at least reach the podium in their division and then keep seeing them in the absolute. But like after this year, they could get their black belts, and then this could just continue forever. Like, who knows, dude?
Yeah, I hope we see it again at Worlds, Brown Belt Absolute Worlds, because also, too, you know, neither of these girls ended up getting the gold medal, which is kind of crazy, which just goes to show you the depth in the brown belt adult female weight class right now is just kind of brimming with talent. Because, I believe Sarah got submitted in the next match after this, so that's kind of crazy. But definitely, this was a big match. I feel like, you know, I wasn't there, but I bet everybody was kind of tuned into this match watching. Yeah,
I know Slack and Joe, they were on the ground in Kissimmee at Pans covering it and everything. So all the stuff you guys saw on social, the videos coming out, that was they're doing, you know, they were holding it down for us. And they were talking about how, like, this was the craziest thing from this day. Like, everyone was talking about this and stuff.
You can see everybody standing up from the IBJJF. In the background there watching, you can see the stands are kind of packed back in the background there. But yeah, there you can see Helena gets her guard back, but Sarah kind of moves right back into this kind of like double under smashing position, and then Helena gets this omoplata, starts fishing for some omoplata stuff here. So she does get Sarah in some bad positions here, but Sarah stays calm, stays tight, stays heavy.
Yeah, you can. It's clear that Sarah knows like the weight of this as well. You know, she's like, nah, I'm not making any mistakes. Even if she shoots this omoplata, like I'm staying rock solid. I thought it was cool to see her go into like a pretty tried and true Andre Galvao style game for this. You know, it's like obviously she saw her dad be the best in the world for a very long time, and she knew like, nah, I watched my dad win a lot of titles with this. Like, let me go ahead and just get right into this, you know.
And Sarah just all over her. Just she gets out and she's just right back in, stacking her up. She just definitely wanted to make sure there was no space for Helena to work her flexible kind of crazy guard that she has.
Yeah. What a terrible place that is to be. Also.
Oh, that's the worst.
Just
yeah.
Like stacked up like that.
With your toes on the mat like that, being stacked. Like that's the brutal position. Brutal. But I guess these girls are a little bit more flexible than me. So
yeah, certainly.
But yeah, great match here. You know, I feel like it just keeps going, and Sarah just keeps the pressure on her, never really lets her get a breath of fresh air, you know. And just
Sarah's a tenacious competitor, dude. Like I remember the first time I was like, oh wow, Sarah's like, she is different. Like she's just, you know, sometimes you like see grapplers and everyone at Pans is incredibly good at jiu-jitsu. Like once you get to this level, like purple belt, brown belt, competing at IBJJF majors, like literally everyone there is super sick at jiu-jitsu, super like good competitor and everything. But at Brasileiros, I feel like last year, Sarah kind of had a tough match in the finals, and it was like, oh no, is Sarah gonna get got? But then you just saw her flip a switch, and she just started side-to-side passing, top spinning on the girl, got her back, choked her, and you could just see it in her face. She was like, no way, dude. Like, I'm putting this away. Like, I am the best out of all the brown belt girls. And she kind of flips that switch, so she can really just like turn it up, which is cool to see.
And she's very approachable too at these for
sure,
tournaments and
the
stuff.
Nicest.
Yeah, one of the nicest competitors out there too. So yeah, you saw there that she was able to get the Helena still has the sleeve grip there and has that kind of like arm crush like kind of position, but they give her the pass points there, so she's up 6-0 now.
Then I think Sarah just kind of maintains it throughout this last minute, right?
Yeah, they break. Just kind of got 40 seconds left here, but Sarah up 6-0. And kind of dominates the rest of the match there.
For sure.
Big win for Sarah Galvao. You can see Andre, of course, now cheering in the background. Andre and Angelica. Big win. They knew how big and that everybody was going to be watching this one. So they were definitely preparing for it. And you could tell, like, she really brought the game to Helena. And maybe she was not quite as on her game for the next match. And she got caught. She got caught in an armbar. Yeah. Kind of a real slick armbar, to be honest. But
yeah, I feel like this is like kind of like the big moment thing, you know, where it's like, even I feel like we see it a lot at ADCC where a person who's making their ADCC debut, say they come out, win their first match, and it's kind of like, whew, I did it, you know, like I won on a huge stage. I got the big one out of the way, and then you just don't have that same kind of mindset going to the next. Like, I don't know what was going down with Sarah, but like there's got to be an element there, you know, like this is obviously such a huge thing.
Big adrenaline dump too after she already won gold medal and then had the big match with Helena, you know, not taking anything away from her opponent there. She definitely submitted her, but
yeah, I mean, I think their match is the most viewed video we have on our YouTube from the tournament. So it's like, obviously it was ginormous thing, but there's I feel like coming away from that match, there's like a twofold effect now going into Worlds, because obviously that's like what this ultimately all builds to, is the IBJJF World Championship in late May, early June. For one, Sarah's gonna have so much momentum with the win over Helena, where it's like, okay, yeah, that was the big question mark. I got the win, and she can kind of carry that confidence and that momentum into the World Championship if they meet again. But on the flip side, Helena, she felt it now. She's like, okay, I know now. I felt her stack me. It didn't go my way. I mean, obviously, Helena's in one of the best camp. Both of these girls have two of the best teams around them and stuff, best coaches, where I'm sure Helena's going to make a lot of changes, make a lot of adjustments, and kind of come ready for redemption at the World Championship. So definitely excited for that to play out as well. But super sick one. Glad we got to see that. What else you queuing up over there? You got something?
Well, I was just trying to find Sarah's next match there so we could give some love to her opponent, but just having a hard time going through. But anyway, yeah, plenty of stuff happened. So yeah, let's just move on and keep talking about some of the black belts maybe, because I think that was one of the biggest things that happened in the color belts. A lot of other stuff happened, of course, in the color belts, but let's focus a little bit more on the black belts, because I think one of the most exciting black belts pans I think I can think of in recent memory, and one of the reasons I feel like is because Roberto Jimenez was in there, to be honest, and I feel like he really just made things fun and interesting. He's got such a great style, to be honest. Had a great match there with Gustavo Batista. On the first day. Let me see. I got this.
Yeah, I mean, Roberto came out guns a-blazing, dude. I feel like, I don't know what you think about this. I feel like we're currently seeing prime Roberto. I don't know. This seems like kind of the best Roberto I feel like we've seen, at least in a long time,
Definitely. Yeah, it's like, man, I remember, Roberto as a purple belt when he won both double gold at the World Championships as a purple belt, where he just submitted everybody, I'm pretty sure. Submitted Mason Fowler in the finals, submitted Bomb, who's like 3 times the size of Roberto.
Go back real quick. This was a little bit controversial, but it was a huge moment, where this is like the start. I believe this is the semifinal of the absolute, or maybe the quarter. But you see he kind of gets this armbar. Scooby says he did not tap. So Scooby kind of was protesting this one. It's hard to tell. There's no camera angle that really sees it. You see his hand kind of float up, but I don't know. Sometimes you are just kind of grabbing, reaching around, frantic whenever you get kind of hit with a flash submission, especially by someone like Roberto. But it was controversial. So I will just, foreshadow, and we're going to watch Scooby's final. Scooby came back with a vengeance in his division after kind of losing this match that he felt like he was wrongfully done.
But it looks like Roberto got the armbar here.
I mean, he for sure had it.
Sure.
So
it looks like he's got it.
It's like that's as locked as an armbar can be. So either way, it's like maybe you didn't tap there, but you were.
And what, Scooby won the ultra heavy division?
Yeah, he won ultra heavy.
Yeah, so definitely a lot bigger than Roberto too. But oh my God, I mean, just look at he's so dynamic. A lot of times guys really lock things down and kind of try to play super conservative, especially at the black belt level, because you make one mistake and that's the match, right? But not Roberto, man. He doesn't play anything conservative. He goes out there, he throws from the feet, from guard, from top. Like, we get to see everything from Roberto.
For sure. It makes it so exciting whenever a dude's game is like dependent on movement, on like opening stuff up in their own game and getting their opponent to open up. It just makes it so sick to watch.
So ended up with double silver, Roberto. So unfortunately didn't get the gold, but I still maintain that definitely one of the most exciting guys, one of the funnest guys to watch out there, and definitely Pans was much better because Roberto was there, and made the finals of both his weight and the absolute class. He's fighting against a lot of bigger guys, and man, just so much fun. Anytime Roberto is out there, he's one of the guys that you just need to be watching.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in a moment like where once his first couple matches went down, it was clear like, okay, yeah, if Roberto's taking the match, like you need to tune into that one. This is going to be pretty incredible. This is him. He's fighting Anderson Kawan here, who's I think he's either super heavy or ultra heavy out of the same gym as Gabi Pessanha. So he trains at City of God and stuff. Super tough guy as well. But like I said, Roberto, this was just prime Roberto, to be honest. He was just on it.
And what, you were just out at Atos, what was that, last week or?
Maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay. We were out there filming with Kynan, and Roberto was there just training no-gi with Kynan.
So I love that this dude is again another one of those guys. Gi, no gi, doesn't matter. He does jiu-jitsu, and doesn't matter really what he wears. He can put guys down. He can submit guys. So like just the quintessential jiu-jitsu athlete right now for Roberto. And yeah, talking about I was saying, like, I feel like that purple belt when he just went on a tear and submitted everybody at the World Championships, I feel like that was peak Roberto, and since then we hadn't really seen that same just that same tenacity from Roberto and that same consistency from Roberto. And but recently now here I feel like he's much focused. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, I know he's got Murillo in his corner. Murillo seems like a good calming presence for him and everything like that. One of the best coaches in the world as well from Unity, Murillo Santana. So I do agree that I'm not sure if we're seeing the best Roberto, but it seems like, man, he is on the come up. And I feel like at Worlds, if he does Worlds or whatever the next one he does, like, he's just going to keep getting better.
Definitely, dude.
And obviously watching this day one, it really got me excited for the heavyweight division. It really got me excited for Roberto versus Adam, because like obviously we knew Adam was going to be there. Adam's kind of solidified himself as one of the best heavyweights in the game, won European championships, won the world championships last year. So it made me be like, oh man, this Roberto versus Adam match is going to pop. Shit's going to be crazy. And it delivered too.
100% it delivered, dude. I feel like that's probably what we need to watch next. I can't remember, did Roberto fight Batista on the first day or was that day 2? I can't remember when that went down.
Yeah, I think it was day 2, actually. Now I'm coming to think of it. Yeah, I think it was day 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if it was going to end up being in this video or not. But yeah, ultimately this led to Roberto on day 1, punched his ticket to the absolute final. Gutenberg on the other side of that made the absolute final. But then in the heavyweight division, Roberto ended up having Batista like second round, I think, in his division, maybe. Here he is with Mateus Rodriguez. So this was
a guy he's had long history with. He's fought since he was a blue belt. He's been fighting Mateus Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to see that these guys kind of meeting up now in black belt. But yeah, and the Gustavo Batista match too. Obviously, we have so much respect for Gustavo Batista and know what he's capable of doing. Obviously, a world champion in his own right. And just one of the heaviest guys out there, it feels like. He can kind of just smash through anybody's guard, it feels like, But
Batista brings like an unbeatable presence, honestly, on the mat. Like when it's like Batista gets out there and as soon as like he is on top of another grappler, it's just like, okay, well, this is kind of that, But Roberto was able to get the win over that. So obviously a huge win for Roberto. Punched his ticket to both finals. And then like we were talking about, this is Adam versus Roberto in the heavyweight final. Adam also kind of has an unbeatable presence right now, And so I don't know. Whenever you heard this match was going down, what did you think it was going to be like? Did you predict it was going to be a crazy one?
I mean, yeah. The thing about them too is like they have just such different styles as well.
Yeah.
Like Roberto is so flashy and can take your back at any moment. He's a back hunter. He's doing these cartwheels and stuff. He's obviously got great stand up. He's taking everybody down, And Adam is kind of like not the exact opposite, but pretty close to it, where he's just very, very traditional jiu-jitsu, and never gets out of position. He's got that kind of perfect positioning, So I was just like, man, like, is the kind of like intense, just like acrobatic nature of Roberto, is that going to be to overtake Adam? And I was a little nervous about it too, just because watching how on Roberto was all tournament, it's like, man, you can't pick against Roberto. He's killing guys out there. He's smashing everybody, So like, I feel like going into this final, it felt like Roberto had the momentum, and it was like, all right, let's see, is Adam going to be able to kind of weather the storm of Roberto here? So let's watch this match a little bit. We can.
Yeah, I feel like Adam and Roberto is a little bit of like the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah, that's a good.
It's like it really is. Roberto is just going to come out. He's going to throw crazy stuff. He's going to create so much movement. Adam, like, I don't know. Like, Adam has a lot of things about his game that I think should be studied. And like, if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, you should watch Adam Wardzinski. But one of the things that maybe doesn't get talked about as much or isn't as like prevalent as like, you could watch his butterfly guard and be like, okay, I want to play butterfly guard like that. But the thing people might not think about is like Adam's pacing during matches. Adam has like the most consistent, never changes pace of like any grappler out there right now, to be honest. Like, he's just always just on Adam time. It's like if he was a WWE wrestler, he would be Tiffy time, dude. It's Tiffy time.
And this is what we've talked about this right here with Adam, where he concedes points early on in the match usually.
Yeah.
But he concedes points with the grips that he wants. So it's like, Roberto obviously gets in deep on a takedown right here, but Adam is searching for the grips that he wants. Even if he's going to concede the points, he gets put down with the exact grips that he wants, and he goes kind of right to work as soon as he gets put down, obviously, using these butterfly sweeps. He's obviously got the belt grip there over the back. This is kind of exactly into Adam's game now, So it's like, okay.
Yeah. And like, that's what he talked with us about that when we were in Poland, where he's like, yeah, I will concede the sweep or concede the takedown, you know, and give my opponent 2 or like accept the 2 basically, if I know it's going to mean that I have my grips, I'm immediately in my game, which, yeah, he's so good at that. He has that bell grip. He goes shin on shin immediately, starts getting into like his butterfly, his half guard, which is a cool thing to see. A dude who's like, I trust my jiu-jitsu. I know that even if I go down 2, a lot of times you see someone take 2 points and that's the match. It's like, all right, it's over with. But Adam kind of always ends up with that. And then you see Roberto here just being Roberto, dude, just spinning on top, cartwheeling. Is the cartwheel pass for butterfly? Is that going to be the new meta we're going to start seeing? Like, I don't know. He was kind of spamming it, and it's like he was so close so many times with it.
Yeah, and this part's so crazy because it's like Roberto is so good at taking people's back. That's what he does. He takes people's back. He chokes them. Like, that's just one of his A games. You know, he's so good at it. And so for the fact that that Adam is able to defend the back right here, I feel like that really kind of like shows dividends here for how the rest of the match is going to go, because right out the gate, obviously, Roberto is spamming a lot of intense positions and stuff. But man, I can't remember the last time somebody actually like legitimately got Adam's back. He's so good at defending those hooks.
It feels like he like exposes his back a lot.
He does.
It's like he's always like showing his back to people a decent amount, but just never actually getting his back taken, and someone getting like the hooks in and completely taking his back.
Such an underrated part of his game there, where he's just like is able to kind of keep a sleeve grip or keep a frame or something like that and just get people off of him, you know. And here's obviously he's using the butterfly hooks here to kind of retain his guard. And man, like that was such a good look that Roberto had on his back. Like, look at here. Especially Roberto, man. He's a back taker. This is what he does, you know. So I just was super impressed. Like as I was watching this, I was like, oh yeah, how could I not expect that Roberto was going to take Adam's back? That's just what Roberto does.
Is Adam a sneaky Unreal Turtle Guard guy? Like, I mean, it's got to be like an aspect of it, right? Like he does just kind of have a nasty turtle guard. I know, you know, in our guard ranking, we ranked it pretty low. And shout out Eduardo Telles as a guy who does it well. But like Adam might be a guy who we should look more at the turtle guard with.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Roberto has trained quite a bit with Fat Ninja and competed against him quite a bit, who's an Eduardo Telles prodigy, or I mean a prospect as well.
This was one of my favorite sequences. There's nothing cooler than John Wayne sweep into the knee cut, into mount, dude. That is effortlessly cool. If you want just steez on your jiu-jitsu, dude, just style with ease, then go ahead and just start hitting John Wayne's into knee cut straight to mount.
And so it's like, it was like, okay, Adam kind of took Roberto's best shots here right out the gate. What are we? We're 2 minutes into the match, you know, and Adam's already taken like a couple of Roberto's kind of best shots here. And then 2 minutes in, all right, now it's Adam's turn to kind of get to his game, and let's see what Adam can do, you know? And yeah, nothing sweeter than just that old school John Wayne sweep, bam. And then just right into a passing position. Something that Adam does better than anybody is sweep directly into a passing position, you know? And look at that, just a matter of seconds, and Adam's able to get past Roberto's guard here and then slide right into mount, which is just Adam. Now you're in Adam's world. And believe me, you don't want to be in Adam's world right here. You don't want to. Like, man, such pressure. He does such a good job of trapping the arms up, you know, bringing the arms above the head like that.
Yeah, just immediately getting into double unders and then just becoming a wet blanket. Just like there's no space in there for Roberto at all. I saw a dude was in the comments of this match. This match is on our YouTube if you guys want to watch it. Where he was saying that he doesn't agree with passing straight to mount. You should get the full 7. So 3 for the pass, 4 for the mount. He said it's not the same as passing, solidifying side control, and then going to mount. I hate to break the news to you, buddy, but it's more impressive to pass someone's guard straight into a dominant position than it is to a less dominant position. Like, what do you mean, dude?
Yeah.
Who would ever say
I don't get that one.
You don't want to pass straight to mount if you could? Like you should be rewarded for going into a slightly less dominant position? Like, that's a crazy take.
We need ways to get more points on the board, not less points on the board for sure.
Yeah, like honestly, if they were like a bonus point for passing straight into like
you get 10 points.
Yeah, like or it just 8. I don't know, like an extra point for being like bypassing a not quite as dominant position. Like, but yeah, then you see Adam here just kind of like putting that top pressure down on him here in mount.
And just love, honestly, Adam's approach to competition, too, as we were, kind of following him at Euros and doing some stuff with him here. We're trying to put together a sweet film on Adam and kind of his journey through jiu-jitsu. Went to Poland out in January as well. Got to meet some of his friends and coaches and stuff like that and see, where he grew up and where he's been training for the past, 20 years or whatever. So that was really fun. But I just love his approach to competition. Like he was saying, he just is so calm, never really puts too much pressure on himself, and just takes it kind of moment to moment, really lives presently in the moment. There's for guys who are kind of like struggling with competing and kind of like, getting over that mental hurdle. I feel like Adam is somebody who does it better than anybody, and should definitely look into kind of how Adam approaches competition, because yeah, it's just like, it's obviously been working out for him too.
Yeah, we have like a quote from Adam. I want to read it real quick because it is just a badass quote, kind of in that vein of how he approaches it and stuff, where he says, "It's always fight by fight, without expectations, without emotions, grip after grip, each second, each minute." And it's like, yeah, dude, that is exactly what we watched Adam do. It's like, he's not worried about like, oh my God, I'm getting just cartwheel past left and right, like I'm so close. It's like, nah, dude. He's like, nope, I have the sleeve grip, so I know I'm good. He'll cartwheel pass, I'll retain guard. Then it's like, boom, all right, now I'm back in the half guard, so that's cool. Now I gotta get this grip, set this up, and he just takes it step by step. Which jiu-jitsu is a super complex thing. It's super hard. Competition is really hard, to be honest. Like, competing in jiu-jitsu is an incredibly hard thing to do, like emotionally, physically, even jiu-jitsu wise, dude. Like, you'll get hit with some shit you've never came across.
Yeah. There's like, jiu-jitsu is so vast. There's so many techniques that somebody can hit you with that maybe you've never seen before, and maybe you don't see in the gym on an everyday basis. Maybe you don't roll with somebody who's really good at deep half guard, and now suddenly you're fighting a guy who's an expert at deep half guard. It's like, there's so many possibilities, so many directions that a jiu-jitsu fight can go. Like, you really have to be prepared for all outcomes, but you can't be focused on all the outcomes. You have to just kind of take whatever comes to you. And we were watching the NCAA wrestling tournament as well, and I feel like they talked a lot about it in their winter interviews and stuff like that. I was watching Mitchell Messenbrink from Penn State there, and he was like, process over outcome. That's what this is. I don't care about the outcome. Process over outcome. Like, he was just like kind of hammering that thing. And it's like, it really is so true. It's like, you got to focus on the process and not the outcome. The outcome will come later. And Adam's a perfect example of that. He focused on the process for 10 years, and he lost at Worlds over and over again. He lost at Worlds. He lost at Pans over and over again, but he just stayed focused on the process and didn't worry about the outcome. And now look at him.
For sure, dude.
Now he's killing it.
It's incredible. It really does. It takes such a complex thing, and it simplifies it as much as you can whenever you do approach it as grip by grip, position by position, just like slowly chipping away, even in the midst of like a crazy match, just like focused on that, like, all right, I got to get this grip now,
What a terrible position to be here.
Yeah, dude, that's horrible. Like, shout out Roberto for even just surviving that, to be honest. I'd have been like, dude, I want to go home. I don't know.
You got this one. Let me live to fight another day.
Tainan is another guy who kind of has like spoken about that, a similar mindset as like a lot of these wrestlers have, and everything about the process and everything. Like, when we ask him about, winning ADCC, and you have this moment, where your arms are spread, you're looking up, you just became the absolute champion, And
that's the moment that everybody sees, obviously.
Right. And he spoke a lot about, he was like, that's just the reward. Like, that's not, it's like, that part doesn't really matter. He's like, that's just like the reward for like hard work done well, kind of like, you work so hard, you do everything right for so long, and then like you kind of just inherit that reward, which I know everyone's working hard, everyone's trying their best, so it's like only one guy kind of gets that reward at the end of the day. But it's like, that is kind of that whole process thing, you have to focus on that process and less about like, well, I'm gonna be the champ, and just like eventually you get rewarded with being the champion. So interesting look into the mindset of these high-level athletes.
And so, obviously kind of Adam kind of cooks Roberto down there kind of for 5 or so minutes. Roberto able to get his guard back here and able to kind of get back to his feet. And,
it starts being Roberto again.
Yeah, and
dude.
it's like, man,
just like, all right, that was cool. Now I got some shit for you.
9-4 here, it's like there's plenty of time for Roberto to submit Adam here, and Roberto, he gets on your back, he gets your arm, he can submit anybody in the world. So it's like, I was like, oh dang, like this match ain't over. It ain't even close to over just yet, He's doing cartwheels, almost taking Adam's back again.
It's crazy how much he was just like hitting this cartwheel pass to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's something out there. Like there's some new like thing that Roberto saw where he was like, I don't know, if a guy plays butterfly on me, I just kind of hop over their back. Like I just cartwheel. Eventually you kind of like get there.
Some turtle guard right here for you.
Yep.
But yeah, look at the way Adam does just show his back kind of like repeatedly. And, you know, and again, Roberto had his chance. He hit his cartwheels, you know, he's doing his thing, but the tables turn, and then Adam gets his chance again. Now Adam's on top.
Just like right back into it.
Such a great jiu-jitsu match here.
Yeah, I mean,
it really is one of the best jiu-jitsu matches, jiu-jitsu matches I feel like we've seen in a little bit.
Yeah, if you watch this match and you're like, no, dude, that was still boring, that still sucked, then it's like, all right, it's just not for you, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, there's not really much you can do at that point. Like, you might just have to watch something else.
Style versus style here, you know, kind of old school versus new school a little bit, although Roberto does have an old school vibe to him as well. And then, so yeah, and then again, there's another 4 points straight to the mount, 16-4, last few seconds here. And Adam is
16-4 with Roberto having 6 advantages, like so many near back takes. Pretty incredible. But
huge.
Then,
That was huge for Adam, I think, you know, to go out there and beat somebody as dynamic like Roberto. That was huge.
You see the Roberto, forearm handshake there, you know?
Yeah.
Always game for a forearm handshake.
So just an incredible match from Adam. Adam's having an incredible year here, obviously. Won Euros in January. Came back here to the States now for in Kissimmee, Florida. Wins Pans. I believe he's going out to Brasileiros here.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was going to say. Guess who already posted their registration for Brasileiros?
Adam, okay.
Adam Wardzinski, dude. Adam's
he's on fire.
He's on fire, I think. Remember, he told us that's the only major he's never even competed at black belt, right? He's never made it down to Sao Paulo to the Balneario Camboriú or whatever the name of the arena is. Pretty legendary arena there in outside of Sao Paulo. But yeah, Adam posted, I saw it last night, he posted on his Instagram that he's already registered for it and stuff. So we're getting a lot of Adam this year. Definitely we're going to be right there watching.
Lucky. Yeah, we're lucky. So great match from him. Can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see more of Roberto. Hopefully he keeps going in the gi. Incredible heavyweight division, to be honest.
Definitely. Super sick all the way around. There's also going to be a lot of heavyweights who are now like, all right, I want a piece of this glory.
Yeah, well, Adam's got a target on his back now.
100%.
You know, he's got a big target on his back now, you know, whether that's like, you know, the Tainan target where people kind of, or the Mika target where people kind of like move away from him now, or they're going to start moving to him, you know.
This one to me is a little more in the line of Kennedy Masael last year, where I feel like it was at this point like Pans. So Kennedy won Euros, and it's like, okay, sick. Kennedy won Euros. That's really cool, you know? Then he comes to Pans. He has a really hard, crazy match against Fabricio in the finals, but he gets the win. And then it was like, okay, now he's got 2 majors, and he's already registered for Brasileiros. And then you start seeing a lot more of the people in that division kind of being like, all right, dude, like I want to put a stop to this, you know? So like, you start to see a lot more featherweights coming to the works, heading into Brasileiros and then ultimately at Worlds and stuff. That's the vibe I'm getting now, where it's like, oh shit, okay, Adam's not stopping, dude. He won Worlds, won the crown, won Euros, won Pans, registered for Brasileiros. It's like, this dude is not stopping. This is a freight train on the tracks that doesn't want anything to do with stopping anytime soon. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who kind of try to step up now and like put it into that party. So I just think this heavyweight division is going to keep getting more and more interesting as we get to Brasileiros, as we get to Worlds. Like I said, you know, ultimately all this stuff leads to the World Championship. That's like the big climax. But up next, dude, Brasileiros is going to be here soon. April 26th, it kicks off, you know, so that'll be a crazy one. Adam's he's in BJJ Stars too, I think, like,
wow.
or at least there's rumors, or I can't remember if it's like how much is out there, but I think there's like some stuff about he's supposed to be at BJJ Stars. But then, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that'll change. Maybe he wants to do Brasileiros. Who knows? But I did see he's for sure in at Brasileiros. So exciting stuff in the heavyweight division. But that's not all the exciting stuff we saw at Pans, dude. We saw a lot of crazy stuff. And another thing that I particularly thought was crazy was Janaina versus Luiza in the women's division there. This was a pretty crazy one. Obviously, Luiza Monteiro, one of the one of the best female grapplers ever. You know, so many titles. I'm pretty sure she's tied with Andre for the most black belt pans titles, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
I think they both have 9 or something like between them. Could be wrong on that, but
yeah, obviously, you know, and Luiza is defending her world title here too. She won the world championships last year, so you know, definitely, like you said, one of the best currently, but also one of the best females ever to step onto the mat. So anytime you fight Luiza, it's gonna be a war. But Janaina there is, you know, these last couple years, she is really kind of like shown out, and I feel like really kind of proved that she's one of the best females as well.
Yeah, so Janaina obviously put on a show at Euros, got the win. Pretty sure she won in the finals via submission. She's at AOJ now, and I think that's been nothing but great for her. Like, she's looked incredible. AOJ, kind of switching over to AOJ. But then you see her here just picking up the quick submission win over Luiza.
In the finals here.
In the finals, straight ankle lock. I feel like a position Luiza knows pretty well, you know, but Janaina just gets her.
It looks brutal too, the way she kind of like turns down and looks the other way. Like, you can tell that's a brutal ankle lock, the way she rips it.
For sure, belly down like that.
One-handed though too, like that's pretty slick. So big win for Janaina here, definitely.
Yep, that was a huge one. That one's obviously going to be big for her, carrying momentum in.
And so she's got the Grand Slam alive as well.
She does, yeah. So Euro champion now, Pan champion. I guess we'll see if she signs up for Brasileiros, you know, if she goes down there, if she's actually pursuing this Grand Slam. I wish I could get in and be a little fly on the wall. See how many of these athletes really are like acknowledging the kind of this path to the Grand Slam and like the potential for it, because it does feel like we still have a few people right now who are kind of on this Grand Slam watch who at least coming away from Pans now is still available, right? So for people who didn't like end up getting it done, Maisa, obviously, she was kind of one we were like, could see a Grand Slam. She ended up taking a loss to Tainara Victoria, which is obviously a huge win for Tainara, a very young black belt. This is, you know, she's only been a black belt for a little while now, but to pick up a win against Maisa, and then she ended up winning in the finals against Shelby Murphy. So that was obviously a huge, major win for Tainara.
Yeah, we've been talking up Maisa as kind of, you know, like you said, the Gabi Pessanha of the lighter weights. You know, she's seriously just looked kind of unbeatable, you know, in these last couple years, to be honest, especially, you know, in her weight class. So for Tainara there to kind of go out and really kind of play upset, definitely surprised everybody and really put her on the map.
Yeah, so that was a huge moment. Obviously, a really big upset there. What else? What else you got?
You know, Baby Shark lost as well.
Baby Shark did lose. Yep.
So that's another upset and takes him out of the running for the Grand Slam. You know, just goes to show how tough it truly is. I don't think people really understand how hard it is to win these Grand Slams, to travel all over the world and be on your game on the day. You know, and you know, close match there in the finals with Baby Shark.
Harrison Gabriel was the guy he met in the finals. Harrison honestly looked really good. Like, he looked like he had like a lot of answers to the problems Baby Shark kind of forces people into in his matches and stuff. So shout out Harrison, you know, for sure. That was an incredible performance by him. Super big win for him as well. And, you know, wasn't Baby Shark's day.
Yeah, went to a referee's decision. I believe it was a pretty close match, tied up on advantages or points. I forget exactly. And then the refs ended up giving it to Harrison there in a razor close decision. But big win for him, for sure.
Yep. So I guess we could look at another guy who is maintained his Grand Slam watch, right? Tainan Dalpra. Tainan obviously looked super sick all tournament. But I got to be honest, I thought Rolando and Andy both looked incredible. I think Tainan is that guy. There's no doubt about that. He obviously, this is like, I've called it kind of the Tainan Dalpra revenge tour, you know? It's like we haven't seen things go Tainan's way the last couple years. Obviously, he got the DQ, then he lost the crown. He had to pull out due to injury, you know? So it's just like, it's clear. You can see it on Tainan's face. They're like, this means a lot to him. This year is huge for him.
He's got something to prove a
Definitely.
little bit. You know?
But like meeting him with like that same tenacity is Rolando, is Andy. And it feels like each time, you know, we see someone like Rolando face him. I know Rolando fought Tainan at Worlds in the semis in 2023, I think it was, right?
Okay.
Where he almost passed Tainan's guard, almost took his back, I believe. And he was like, oh shit, Rolando, he's not afraid of Tainan and stuff. And this time he had a semifinal against him where he seemed to close that gap a little more. Tainan still gets it done. Like I said, Tainan is that guy. And then here we see the final between Andy and Tainan.
And we talked a lot about this match as well as being two guys who were kind of, really close to each other in terms of skill. But obviously Tainan has been able to kind of solve the puzzle.
Oh, Hajowiz, dude, standing in front of the camera.
But yeah, I just pulled this up because this is just such a great sweeping position right here that Tainan's in. It's hard to see with the ref in the way, but he's got some really great grips, and he's able to, early on in the match, get this sweep and go up 2 points on Andy here. And it's coming in just a second. Here we go. But you can see Tainan's got some great grips. He's got the far pant grip, I believe, over there. And he's got Andy's leg kind of hoisted up on his shoulder. Yeah, I kind of missed it there.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Here's the sweep. See, it's kind of crazy. You can see right there, Tainan's got his pant grip, his own pant grip, kind of like trapping Andy's leg there. He has his own pant grip. That's kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts.
But
closing off that circuit, making it a closed circuit there.
But the thing is here is that like Tainan kind of sweeps Andy, and then Andy gets right into a really good sweeping position, sort of immediately from this kind of X guard position.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch
getting
watch
under
that again.
Tainan.
Yeah. So like Tainan sweeps, but Andy goes right into a good sweeping position here. And you think that he's going to get this sweep, but Tainan just defends at all costs.
Yeah.
And does a really good job of defending this sweep, and keeping it 2-0 and just giving him the advantage. And I feel like that's clutch if you're winning these close matches, is to not concede the sweep here.
Yeah, Tainan not subscribing to the Adam Wardzinski approach to matches and accepting the two.
Yeah, he knows that like this is a match that's going to be super close. It's going to come down to advantages, or it's going to come down to 2 points or whatever. It's kind of how they always go. So he knew that he could not kind of let Andy sweep him right here. And so he just does a great job, I feel like, defending the sweep and defending this single leg for a long time. Andy puts a lot of attempts together, running the pipe there. And Tainan just has great balance from this position.
So hard to not get taken down here, but so hard to also take someone down here. Like, it's a weird dichotomy where it's like both sides of this exchange are so tough.
Well, it's like, and he's got the collar grip,
Yeah, he has like
under the leg, the lapel grip under the leg there, So it's like Andy's got everything that he needs, everything that he would want, and just can't quite keep Tainan down. Those are dangerous positions to scramble from, especially in the gi.
Tainan going after the guillotine there a little bit,
Clears the grip and makes it so it's 2-0 still, and that's huge. That's huge for Tainan. And this is a great. I feel like we were talking about Tainan wanting to prove something. I feel like we really saw it in this match because Tainan's really aggressive in this match, and I feel like sometimes once Tainan gets up, maybe he'll kind of like ride the points a little bit. But no, 2-0 is not good enough for him right here, and I like how he's aggressive right from the go here.
Ooh, a little shimmy from Andy right there. I love a good shimmy in the standing exchanges.
And I feel like we don't see Tainan shoot a lot of takedowns. He's
not a ton.
Kind of a guard puller, And so from right out that reset, I mean, look at that. That was sick, dude. That was
go back on that a little bit. He gets that low kind of sweeping single, has the lapel, then shelves the leg, right?
Yeah, it's like, and we don't see scoring 4 points right here in the first half of the match. That's a pretty high scoring match. Andy defending, boom, he just takes him back. And maybe Andy a little too willing to play guard there. Maybe he should have taken a cue from Tainan and really defended that with all his heart. But here we go. 5 minutes left in the match, and Tainan's up 4-0. That's going to be a big mountain for Andy to climb now. So I think we were talking a lot about how Andy's closing the gap. It's like it feels like any one of these matches, Andy could beat Tainan, but Tainan came to play for Pans. Sure. Tainan wasn't messing around.
Yeah, that's one of those things, right? Where it's like, let's say like Tainan and Andy are like right here right now. Obviously Tainan has the upper hand, and Andy's going to close that gap a little, but Tainan's figuring it out also. He's
better.
Like, he feels Andy's best attacks every single time, and then he makes a little progress. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, who can make those big jumps at basically each of these like kind of major tournaments whenever they meet.
So, yeah, and obviously, Tainan gets the win here. Like you said, keeps his Grand Slam hopes alive. Is he registered for Brasileiros?
I haven't seen him register yet. I feel like the AOJ crews, they're late registrants.
Yeah, true.
They wait till the last minute. They like to kind of slide in there right under the radar, right as, it's like registration's about to close.
So, but I obviously going into Brasileiros, going into Worlds, this says a lot for sure. And you have to assume that these guys are going to meet again at Worlds or Brasileiros if they both do it. But it feels like Tainan is kind of slowly pulling away here, head and shoulders above the rest of the pack. And I
feel like Andy ends up with 2 somehow.
Yeah, I
right?
feel like there's another scoring.
He gets a sweep or something.
Yep, just
back to that stack.
Terrible position.
Yeah, that's a brutal place to be.
Does Andy get 2 right there? Or? Tainan pulls.
Yeah.
I thought there was another points section here, but
I thought so too. Maybe I'm tripping though.
Obviously, Andy kind of throwing the kitchen sink at him now, but a little too late.
Yeah.
30 seconds left. Oh, yeah, and Tainan, that's right. Tainan sweeps him. So it's 6-0. So another great...
kind of back to this similar position.
Yeah, for real.
This time with a lapel instead of his own pant.
Kind of like a waiter sweep looking thing right there. So 6-0. Tainan able to, really cement himself as the king of the middleweights here. So I think definitely like we were saying with Adam, Tainan's got a big target on his back as well.
Definitely, dude. What else stood out to you? What else should we take a little peeky poo at?
Great match there. Another great match. There's a bunch of good jiu-jitsu this weekend for sure. We had Gabi Pessanha, of course.
Pessanha holding it down.
Holding it down. She did her thing. She looked unbeatable, of course, out there as well. This time she's fighting Isadora Cristina in the finals.
Yeah, this is the absolute finals. Isadora, obviously a beast. Out of originally came up through Dream Art and everything. I don't know
where's she trained now.
I'm not sure if she's still at Dream Art or if she went to Fratres as well. I can't remember.
Or is she AOJ?
Nah.
No, she's not AOJ?
I don't think so. Part of me thinks she still trains with A-Rod, but I don't know. Guess we'll have to look into that. We didn't do our due diligence, dude. Flame us up in the comments for not doing our due diligence.
Crazy back take right here, though, for sure. Where off of Isadora's kind of attack right there. Wow.
Yeah, Gabi's just a beast, dude.
Gabi, another one who's just like so calm out there.
Yeah, just like it's just another day at the office.
This is just where she lives. Like, so
just submitting the best in the world. That's just like her home, So much pressure.
Just makes it look easy, to be honest.
And then she ultimately gets this choke for the finish in the absolute final. She double golded as well, or not as well as well for herself, I guess.
As she does.
Other tournament, yeah.
She double gold. But yeah, this will be a big deal when somebody, if it ever happens, where somebody beats Gabi Pessanha. Gonna love seeing potentially Helena Crevar or Sarah Galvao up against Gabi Pessanha here in the next coming years.
That would be nuts, dude.
Yeah, those are some fun matches for sure. But Gabi, it's like, how do you deny this girl? She just goes out there and just buzzsaws pretty much everybody. One of the most dominant jiu-jitsu athletes we've ever seen. Truly.
Yeah, so one more I can think of that we could watch real quick just to see the finish is Marcus Scooby. He ended up making it to the ultra heavyweight final. That's kind of like I mentioned. I think, he definitely saw his division as like, all right, I got something to prove now. I didn't like the way the absolute went for me. And Marcus Scooby is like one of the best competitors in the gi right now. I feel like he's one of the guys that during these IBJJF majors, like, should always be on your watch for a dude who could end up in the absolute final, could make a run in the absolute Ors division. And so then the absolute didn't go his way, and he kind of did come back with a vengeance here. We can watch kind of like his submission in the finals. And
I think he got a couple submissions there in his division. Definitely that ultra heavyweight division. It feels like Marcus is becoming the guy there. I can't think of too many other guys he's going to have in his way, to be honest, at Worlds at the moment. But
he like whatever Muniz brother ends up going, ultra heavy. If they go like Eric, would probably be the big one.
And I did see that Victor Hugo was talking about potentially coming back to the gi too. So that would be nuts. That'd be a good one.
But the gi world is better with Victor Hugo, dude. There's a few dudes like, we talked about obviously Roberto helped make this event like feel bigger and everything, with the way he approaches competition and everything. Adam's one of those guys, Gustavo Batista, Victor Hugo as well. If Victor Hugo's out there in the gi, then, things are elevated. It's a little more serious when the big man flows on the mats for sure. So that would be sick to see Victor come back out.
Yep. And so obviously, Marcus putting a lot of pressure down on, was this Helton, Jose?
This is Helder Jr.
Helder Jr., okay.
Yep.
So obviously putting a lot of pressure down here. I think he gets sort of kind of like a paper cutter choke here in the finals, which is it's a paper cutter choke. You don't see those too often. And I believe that's what this is.
Helder's another dude who will go out in the ultra heavyweight division and kind of put it on the line, make some exciting stuff happen. If you remember at Brasileiros, when there was a double DQ in the final of the ultra heavyweight, they got double DQ'd for being boring, and basically Helder had to come back out, and so they brought in the third place guys, brought them out to do the final, and Helder just submitted him immediately. And then he kind of went off about like ultra heavyweights got to stop being boring. Like you can do sick jiu-jitsu too. You can get submission and stuff. So I do respect Helder a lot because he is a guy who will put it on the line and stuff. Obviously this one didn't go his way, but it is cool when two dudes who like we will show out in the final and kind of go for submissions kind of meet, and like that means there's likely going to be a submission like we saw here for Scooby, So shout out Scooby on that one, getting the finish. But
yeah, recently we were talking a lot about Atos and AOJ and stuff like that. But, obviously Marcus from the Alliance camp, that's still one of the best camps in the world as well, has one of the best coaches in the world as well. So, those guys are getting better as well.
But there we go. There's some good Pans recap for you guys. Is there anything else we missed? Anything else we should talk about real quick?
Let me see what else I had here. I just had here's some just kind of submission highlights that we can play as well. Just some other good submissions that happened throughout the tournament. But I think one of the biggest things too to talk about is that AOJ.
We didn't talk about Pato.
Oh, Pato, that's right.
Yeah. Pato ended up. Pato and Cole ended up making it to the final. They closed out. Pato, I think, like on paper, took the gold in that one. So Pato is still on a course to Grand Slam as well. So I think him and Cole both had some tough matches along the way too, some technical matches and everything.
Close matches.
But they got it done, So and made it to the final and got to close out together.
Yeah, and obviously, we're still waiting to kind of see the best from Cole in the gi as well. I think he had a misstep last year at Worlds when we kind of first saw him in the gi. But obviously, we saw him at Euros. Had some great matches there. Ended up getting the silver medal here at Pans. So I think we're slowly starting to see the best of Cole Abate come out, which obviously, we're big fans of Cole Abate and what he's doing out there. So can't wait to see him kind of starting to make the finals and start to win some gold medals and stuff like that as well. I think he's a big prospect, obviously. But in Pato, a part of the AOJ crew that is just killing it as well. Gutenberg, Pereira there won the absolute, beat Roberto.
Yep. Absolute beast.
In the absolute division. Gutenberg is another guy who's kind of like, we don't see a whole lot, especially these last couple years, but it seems like he's coming back into the fold, and he's really kind of focused out there in AOJ and everything. So excited to see Gutenberg continue his gi run as well, but it was a big weekend for the AOJ crew. All the AOJ guys, did really well, and girls, And
I believe AOJ won the men's team trophy. So AOJ took home the men's team trophy. I think it's their first major men's team trophy that they've won. So that's obviously huge. Kind of shows the current route that Guy and Rafa Mendes have that team on, pretty incredible to see. And then I was just going to say, on the female team trophy side, Atos ended up taking that. So I know you guys, if you listen to this podcast, you've heard us talk about this Atos dream team, like the women's dream team they're assembling and putting together. And it was cool to see them actually, solidify that and take home that women's team trophy. So definitely two sick teams just continuing to do it. But yeah, AOJ on the men's side and the women's, they have so many female champions as well. Looked incredible. So
yeah, honestly, it's kind of crazy. You got Alliance and Atos, Gracie Baja, all these teams that have kind of hundreds of gyms basically across the entire world. Alliance, obviously, Gracie Baja, these guys have gyms all over the world.
Anywhere that has jiu-jitsu has a Gracie Baja, has an Alliance. You know?
And Atos as well. There's Atos everywhere. There's obviously Atos here in Austin, big Atos out there in San Diego, but a bunch of Atos is all over the country as well. And to think that AOJ is kind of doing all of this, beating all of these teams, basically with just one gym. I know they just opened their second location, right down the street in California from Costa Mesa there. But it is kind of crazy that they really kind of only have one gym and they're doing all of this, all their development, all of their guys basically are out of this kind of one gym. And so that's pretty impressive. I think you definitely have to kind of like look at that and see how they're doing things a little bit differently than the rest of the teams out there, and they're still beating them. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like with AOJ, they have obviously their Costa Mesa location and then the Mission Viejo one now, but it's like it's one pro comp class. That's like every athlete you see going out through the colored belts, through black belts, everything, kind of killing it in all these competitions. They train at the exact same comp class. Like they're all right there, doing it together. And that is a nuts thing, dude, to be able to do that. And like, it really speaks to Guy Mendes as a coach,
really does,
and like as not just like a coach, but I guess kind of like an orchestrator for like a lot of these people's career, helping build up these athletes and create careers for them and tell them, give them guidance and say like, this is what you need to do. I know Cole talks a lot now about kind of like that colored belt blueprint and stuff that he's like helped build. I'm sure Guy has like a big part in helping him like map all that out and stuff, but like there really is a lot of cool stuff going on in the AOJ camp with like the way these guys are building careers for these guys like this. So
yeah, and to think that now AOJ is kind of in the mix to win the title at Worlds.
It's pretty nuts.
Like that's something to kind of keep tabs on, pay attention to.
Imagine if Atos and AOJ were still kind of one thing. I mean, that would be like potentially the most unbeatable super team of all time. But
yeah, and now they're going head to head with them. Tainan, Rolando, and you see all these kind of AOJ versus Atos matches happening. But yeah, plenty of great action here. We got a bunch of submission highlights. We got some more highlights coming. Obviously, a bunch of matches going up on the YouTube, but they're all available on FloGrappling.com. You can watch it with you had Jake and Danny out there doing the commentary, keeping you abreast of all the crazy news and all the technique that's going on. So just a great weekend, plenty of action. But I think that's pretty solid recap, huh?
Yeah, for sure. If you want any more than that, you got to just go watch it and find out for yourself, dude.
Yeah, for real.
But we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so there's a lot of cool events, a lot of good content coming out, to speak, in the W&O lane. Obviously, W&O 27 is going down April 18th. Get your tickets, dude. Mm-hmm. Buy your tickets and come to the show. Mm-hmm. Actually come to the show. You know what I'm saying? Come to the show. But tickets available now for W&O 27, so make sure you're buying those. But I just want to talk, about some of the content around that as well. We already have a Kainan Day in the Life. It's available on the FloGrappling YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe right now. Let's get those numbies up so you can watch that. You can watch it on FloGrappling.com. But we visited B Team. I saw the comments, Flo's at B Team. Yeah, dude, we're at B Team, bro.
Oh, shit.
We're at B Team, dude. We're filming at B Team. Eat your hearts out, dude.
Done.
Oh no, dude. So yeah, we visited B Team. Obviously, it's always great hanging with those guys and stuff, I don't know what people think, but we're close with B Team. We love B Team and stuff. So I've been there, trained before. You know, Declan taught me some sick X guard passing. So if I see any of you in the streets, freaking don't play X guard on me, pal. But don't play X guard on me in a street fight, bro. I'll freaking pass that shit. I'll pass that shit so fast. But yeah, so we got Nicky Rod interviews coming out. We got Nicky Rod training footage. Owen Jones was in the mix. There's a round with Owen Jones already out now if you guys want to watch that. But definitely,
he's got a big match on Who's Number One as well. Julian Espinoza. That should be a banger.
Yep, super exciting one. Owen him talking about that one, he said he knows Julian's a dude who's going to come out there and do jiu-jitsu, throw some crazy stuff at him, and he said that just makes my life easier. It's better when people are doing jiu-jitsu, you know, able to get in some stuff. He has bold predictions for the match, so go watch Owen's interview if you want to hear what he has to say about it. But definitely some cool content coming out, so keep your eyes out on that. Excited to make stuff around such a huge matchup, you know, Kaynan Duarte versus Nicky Rod, but also the entire card is stacked, you know. We got the Legends match. That's a crazy one. Shanji versus Boogie.
Let's go.
I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah. Helena's got a title fight on the card as well against Liz Clay, defending her title. A lot going down.
But then, you know, beyond that as well, coming up in April, there's going to be BJJ Stars. That's a huge BJJ Stars card that you guys are going to want to tune in for. The welterweight Grand Prix is looking incredible. Just to say a few of the names in that bad boy, we got Mika's in, PJ Barch is in, Elijah Dorsey, a lot of other ones. That one's stacked to the gills. I think Jonathan Gracie is in. And then on that card, too, we're going to see Mayrom versus Baby Shark. So a crazy match there. A couple must-watch grapplers throwing it down. And that actually, so that one's a sick one because BJJ Stars is the first day of Brasileiros as well. So BJJ Stars goes down April 26th. Also, IBJJF Brasileiros Brazilian Nationals kicks off April 26th and then runs for like a lot of days, to be honest. I think it's like all the way through like May 4th or something. Yeah. I'm going to be down there in Brazil, you know. Eu falo pouco de português, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I know how to say is that I speak a little Portuguese to people, and then it's just not true. So that's a move I like to pull in Brazil is when someone comes up to me, I say, eu falo pouco de português, and then they say stuff, and I don't know what they say.
That's sort of the end of the conversation.
Yeah, I hit them with the ossa, and then I walk off. I go find an acai bowl or something, I don't know. But excited to get back down to Brazil. You know, it's always exciting there. Brasileiros is a crazy tournament. The homeland, yep, the motherland. But you gonna sneak down there? Or what, Reed? I'm trying to get Reed to come down to Brasileiros. He's telling me he's going to, but I don't know. He hasn't booked the flight yet. I sent him the flight info. And he hasn't booked it, so I'm like, what the heck, dude? I don't know.
Any day now, I'm about to book the flight. No, I'm gonna be down there in Brazil as well for sure. In Brasileiros, I've never been to Brasileiros actually.
Wow.
So I'll be excited to check that out. And
dude, bring earplugs.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. It's so loud. It's like a bowl style arena. I know you've obviously seen the arena. It's like more like Euros and stuff, but it is so loud, dude. One of my favorite moments from one of the Brasileiros I've been to is just like, it's just a crazy environment. You know, it's hot. Like it's like AC is not great in Brazil, you know, especially in an arena like that, you know, the power's cutting on and off, like whatever. And I just look up into the stands and I just see all these people going crazy in the stands, you know, cheering, booing. And then there's just this group of dudes with no shirts on. And in the middle of that group is just Mario Hayes, just chilling, no shirt on, just like relaxing, looking around, just soaking in the environment and stuff. And I'm like, damn, what a legend
just
Mario.
Just running things from the stands.
Just what a legend Mario Hayes is, just shirtless in the stands at Brazil. So if you end up going to Brasileiros, be on the lookout for Mario Hayes with no shirt on, I guess. Yeah. I might have to get up there and take my shirt off. Just really soak it in, you know?
Yeah, just kind of be one of the people, you know, just get the full experience.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that one. You excited to go down there?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm super excited, and especially with Adam and Tainan and everybody, kind of all the big heavy hitters going to be down there, hopefully. So should be sick. Yeah,
so a lot of cool stuff, you know, going down. I know you guys are hip to it. I don't got to tell you. You know what's going on in the jiu-jitsu world. But thank you all for tuning in to the FloGrappling show. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Drop a comment with your favorite stuff from Pans. Drop a comment with stuff you're excited to see coming up. And we'll see you all in the next episode.